Imagine waking up each day knowing that you're going to make at least £1,000, not in a week, not in a month, but every single day. And the best part is you don't need a lot of money or special skills to start. And in this video, I'm going to show you 8 businesses that can absolutely change your life if you work hard, take it seriously, and give it your best shot. These ideas aren't guesswork. They are based on my own experiences and experiences of friends, individuals that I have coached and mentored, who are now making more than £1,000 each day. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Julian Hall, a multi-award-winning serial entrepreneur based here in the UK. My 2 eldest sons both run jewelry businesses where they make custom pieces for upcoming rappers, and they use a simple arbitrage model. So they work with jewelry makers, diamond setters, gold suppliers in Hatton Gardens, which is the jewelry district of London. My sons usually help the clients to visualize the pieces that they want, and their job is to pull together all of the specialists, manage them to come up with the custom jewelry that their client wants. Now, the arbitrage model simply means that with all of the freelancers and specialists that they work with, if that costs them £1,000 or £5,000 or £10,000 in labor costs, then they will add a minimum of 25 to 50% margin to those labor costs. So you can imagine if a piece of custom jewelry, even at the very lower end, costs £2,000 or £5,000, and they've been able to add 25 to 50% margin, then you've hit your £1,000 a day. Now, the next idea you can use to make over £1,000 a day, this one is purely digital, and it helped me to get through the 2008 recession. So when I started what I regarded as my first successful business, we were in Shoreditch, which is a place in East London, which is like the UK's version of Silicon Valley. And we ran a digital agency. So what we would do is we would find the lowest cost, highest skilled digital freelancers, both in the UK and across the world, to provide everything from design, logos, marketing, pay-per-click, SEO, you name it. Everything across the digital spectrum, we offered it. We would source our customers from networking events. Remember those when you would meet people face to face? We were avid networkers. We would go across London and outside of London to meet people, have conversations, build relationships. But what we were really, really good at was working with individuals who were across the world, who had some really great skill sets, but because they were working in different countries and the value of the pound was greater than their local currency, it meant that we had a greater potential for profit in the business. We targeted corporates who we knew could pay anything between 10 and 50 times the cost of labor on our side. So for example, if we spent £500 on a logo, then we knew for some corporates we might be able to charge £5,000. And back in 2008, if you remember, we didn't have all of these fancy websites like Wix, and having a website was a really big deal, and the costs were still really, really high. But here's the point, and this is the thing that you can replicate. We were really good at finding low cost, high skilled workers and setting that against really high paying clients. And speaking of technology and giving you an idea that is super current, it's something that you can learn without having to go to university, and it's something that still many business owners are really struggling with, is generative AI. Now, you don't need to become the AI engineer because that is a very highly skilled position, but you can become an influencer around AI, and not just AI, any of these newfangled technologies, whether it's AI, whether it's the metaverse or blockchain, data science and the like, but it's still super early, and everybody is looking for someone who knows just a little bit more than them to be able to come in and advise them on how they can use these new technologies across any area of business. So all you need to do is think about which area of business and what sector of business are you most interested in, because all of them will be impacted by these new technologies. And because we are super early with those technologies and there's a shortage of available skills, those who do have experience with those new technologies will be able to charge a premium. But if all of that seems like a bit too much, my old man would always say to me, Julian, you need to go and get a government contract. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm only small, how the hell am I supposed to do that? And it took me far too long to actually realize that a government contract could actually be a local government contract. So wherever you live, there will be a local authority, a local council. Each one of them will have government funding to supply services to the hundreds of thousands of people in that borough. We have departments for everything. In order for each one of those government departments to operate, they don't do the work themselves. For the most part, they will bring in suppliers through contracts and tenders in order to deliver the work. And this, my friend, is where you can come in. There are also contracts out there which are put out on these government websites where very few people pitch for that particular contract. And in some instances, they may just get one business respond to that tender, to that government contract, and by default, it means they've won. So it might seem a little bit scary, but what I would encourage you to do is to, in whatever country you live, to log on to the government contracts website, have a look around, because you will be surprised. And many of these contracts are in the hundreds of thousands of pounds. Some of them are in the millions of pounds. And it may not be that you or your company has the specific skill set or experience, but you can create consortiums where you bring together the organizations who do. You lead on it, you bid for it, and who knows, maybe you'll be on over £1,000 a day. But there is another cheat code to this £1,000 a day problem, and that is in the positioning of your business. Now, my older brother runs a local movers company in West Palm Beach, and he often tells me that he is able to, in a couple of days, make tens of thousands of pounds. And it took me a few years to figure this out, because we have local movers in the UK, and my brother does mainly domestic moves. And in the UK, or where I live anyway, nobody is spending that kind of money on moving. But it dawned on me after many years of speaking with my older brother that actually the reason why he is able to generate so much revenue from his local movers business in Florida, it's because of where he is based. And you'll have heard, when it comes to property, which is the same as business, location really matters. So he just happens to be in a location in Florida where lots of really wealthy people go to retire. There's so much movement there that not only is it good for a moving business, but many of them who retire there are high net worths. So they are used to paying, and actually often they want to pay a premium because they want a really good service. And that is where my brother, with his moving business, is able to generate way more than £1,000 or $1,000 a day, and over the course of the year have a really successful business. But if I was to choose just one skill that I think you would need to make over £1,000 a day, every business requires sales. That's what makes a business different to a charity or anything else. They have to generate sales, they have to generate revenue and profits. But if you're not quite there with the sales thing yet, I get it. You need a little bit of time to build up that narrative. And this is the next thing, where you can make over £1,000 a day without actually having to sell, but you do need to be able to tell a good story. I now run a social enterprise in the UK, which is 8 years old, called Ultra Education. But when we first started back in 2015, we weren't a social enterprise, we were just an education company. Within about 2 years, I had realized, because colleagues had told me, Julian, you are creating loads of social impact. I didn't know what that word even meant. But what I did know was that the work we did was more than educational, it was impactful. It was helping young people from disadvantaged backgrounds to gain skills and to build life chances that they wouldn't have otherwise had. And so we converted into a community interest company, which is a step away from being a charity here in the UK, a social enterprise essentially, so that we could access the magical thing that everyone is going crazy about, which is grants. If you are able to tell a really good story and present a compelling argument to a funder, they will support your organization with the funds that you need to run projects and to run initiatives. You don't need the ability to sell, but you do need the ability to deliver on that promise and to be able to understand who your beneficiaries are. Who is it that you're trying to benefit? Whose lives are you trying to improve and have positive social impact? Do a little bit of desk research, you'll see that whether it's in the UK or the US, there are literally billions of pounds worth of grant funding available across the country. And if you are able to tap into a community that really needs that support and align those needs with the outcomes that a funder is looking for, then you'll probably raise that grant funding. Now, the thing that keeps most businesses up at night are the problems that they have to solve. These puzzles remind me of the puzzles that every business has across their organization. If you are able to solve that problem for that business, if you're able to get them unstuck, they will pay you for it. Those individuals are called consultants. Now, a consultant can get paid anything from £250 just for a couple of sessions, not even a day. And the day rate for many consultants is in the thousands of pounds. At the very lower end, somebody might charge £500 to consult, but at the very top end, you may have a sales trainer, for example, come in for the day, and it's not unlike a sales trainer to charge anything between £5,000 and £10,000 for the day to go and train a team. If you can talk about the problems that you're solving. Speakers for a 1 hour engagement would get anything from £3,000 upwards, maybe a little bit less, maybe £1,000, but that could just be for a 1 hour talk. And this is something that I've been able to achieve, and lots of people who've been able to achieve who don't necessarily have as much experience as me, but they may have a specific area of expertise that they've only garnered in the last couple of years. But it's all about you saying, what experiences do I have that I can target towards a business, or I just become good at uncoupling these problems. And then I present that to a business, because I can go to businesses and not ask them for a job, but look at the problems that they might have, present the idea that they may have these problems, have a chat with them, build some relationships, and you'll find that if you are able to solve some of these puzzles for businesses, they will pay you more than £1,000 a day. These business ideas are just the start of your journey to financial success. But remember, a great idea is just the beginning. Actually running a successful business is a different game altogether. So don't start a business thinking that overnight you'll be a millionaire in your 20s sipping tequilas on a beach. But if you're serious about entrepreneurship and you really want to start your own business, the best thing you can do right now is to understand why 98% of business owners fail. And I've shared that in this video. Watch now to avoid the common pitfalls and foolproof your business in 2024. Ultra and out.